Greetings and welcome. I'm Dr. Casey. I just wanted to take a few minutes to address a few statements and questions that I commonly see in some of the discussion in our community. I do see some people stating that fibromyalgia is a condition that only affects women. I also have been messaged privately by some people in our community that have asked me, why is it that only women suffer with fibromyalgia? So I've been meaning to get on here to address this because I have to dispel the myth because it's simply not true. Now, I absolutely understand why it may seem like it's only women that experience fibromyalgia, because the fact is 70% of the world's population that suffers with fibromyalgia is women. In fact, some reports suggest that the number is closer to 90%. So that would leave 10 to 30% of those dealing with fibromyalgia to be men. So 10 to 30% of 450 million, that's still a lot of men that are dealing with fibromyalgia, and it's a problem that absolutely needs to be addressed. Now, while there are less men that deal with fibromyalgia, it's also worth noting that those that do experience fibromyalgia typically experience less symptoms than women, and the symptoms that they do have, they experience to a less severity than their female counterpart. Also, with fibromyalgia, you can have flare-ups and episodes, in which case the symptoms get worse. For men, those flare-ups and episodes typically happen less frequently, and again, the severity is just not as bad. Diagnostically, men typically demonstrate less tender points than women do. Now, there are some well-grounded theories as to why that is the case, most of which pertain to hormones. So women, for the most part, report that their symptoms of fibromyalgia actually become worse right before and after menstruation. And the belief is that it's due to a fluctuation in hormones, namely estrogen. Now, estrogen is a body's natural mechanism against pain. Now, it's not the actual level of estrogen that's going to create the flare-up of fibromyalgia symptoms, but it's the process of the fluctuation of the hormones that's going to make the symptoms come and go. So men, the dominant hormone for men is testosterone. Now again, testosterone is a natural mechanism against pain. And men who have higher levels of testosterone are typically less prone to experiencing fibromyalgia pain. Now, in addition to that, men typically release endorphins from the brain more effectively. And these endorphins activate pain-killing receptors. And so with men getting that greater release, that's why they typically have a higher threshold to pain. So that explains why they experience the symptoms to a lesser degree. Now, I also need to mention that there is that false premise that exists that fibromyalgia is a condition that only affects women. Now, with that mentality still existing, it absolutely makes sense how it could be overlooked. These fibromyalgia conditions can be overlooked in men by their doctor. Also, it's well known that men, for all healthcare problems, all symptoms, men just are less likely to go visit their doctor in the first place. And there are a number of reasons why that is the case, and I feel like that's a video that's another video on its own, and I should address that as well. But when you take those two factors into account, that can kind of explain why there's such a discrepancy between the number of fibromyalgia cases between men and women. So I hope that clears things up. You have a better understanding, and it does underline the fact that both men and women suffer with fibromyalgia. And I also want to take this opportunity to let you know that in 4 days, we are launching our 4-part masterclass series. Again, there's absolutely no cost, and guess what? It's open to both women and men. So I don't care who's watching. I hope you take the opportunity. Click the link above the video. That will take you to the sign up. And this 4-part masterclass series is our opportunity to help you move towards better health and just make sure you have all the information that you need. So again, click the link above the video. That will take you to the sign up. I hope you take advantage. I see Colin popped on. Hi, Colin. I also see Connie there. Thank you for joining us, Connie. Yeah, take advantage of that. Thank you for joining me right now, and you are one step closer.